long-term persistence of a seriously endangered wildlife species and Asia's most iconic mega herbivore, Asian rhinos. This third Asian Rhino Range countries meeting is hosted by the Government of Nepal and is facilitated by the Asian Rhino Specialist Group of the IUCN's Species Survival Commission and supported by the National Trust for Nature Conservation Nepal, WWF Nepal, ZSL Nepal, US Fish and Wildlife Service, Rhino Recovery Fund, RNEC, and International Rhino Foundation. In fact, this meeting brings together government representatives from all Asian Rhino Range countries to evaluate the progress and prioritize further actions in support of Asian rhino conservation. To start with, I would like to request Mr. Ajay Karki, Deputy Director General of the Department of National Parks and Wildlife Conservation, Nepal, and the coordinator of this meeting organizing committee to deliver the welcome remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Chris. Good morning, namaste, and a very warm welcome to the Rhino land of Nepal. The chairperson of this opening ceremony, the chief guest, Honorable Vice Chairperson of the National Planning Commission of Nepal, the Secretary, Ministry of Forest and Environment, Nepal, the Chairperson of the National Trust for Nature Conservation, Nepal, delegates from Rhino Range countries, Bhutan, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Nepal, secretaries of the provincial ministries, chief district officers, joint secretaries, and other representatives of federal, provincial, and local governments, representatives of Nepali Army, Nepal Police, and other members of Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, chairpersons of IUCN Species Survival Commission and Asian Rhino Specialist Group, head and representatives of national and international conservation partners and donors, chairperson of Buffer Zone Management Committee and other committee-based organizations, dear esteemed guests, attendees, media friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for your participation in 3rd Asian Rhino Range Countries meeting. This historic gathering could not have been possible without the unwavering commitment, dedication, and contribution of each and every one of you. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you all in our beautiful country in this very important and most awaited meeting. It is our great privilege to host this important meeting at the Chitwan National Park, our natural World Heritage Site. The participation of the delegates from all the range countries has reflected our commitments for a common goal to conserve Asian rhinos. Our common concern about the fate of Asian rhinos helps us all to move forward through coordinated and collaborative efforts to save these masterpieces of the Mother Earth. Saving these species will not only help to secure ecosystem health, but also to a greater extent contributes to socio-economic well-being of the people living in the range countries. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Asian rhinos are one of the largest terrestrial mammals of our generation. It has great ecological and cultural significance throughout the Asian region. All the rhino-rich countries are committed to conserve these highly threatened rhinos in the wild. The government of Nepal has given the utmost conservation priority by listing the greater one-horned rhino as a protected species under the National Park and Wildlife Conservation Act 1973. Government of Nepal has promulgated and implemented the periodic rhino action plans as a guiding document outlining the priority conservation activities for the rhino conservation in Nepal. Asian rhinos are threatened throughout their range primarily due to poaching, habitat loss and fragmentation, and other human-induced causes. During this 3-day meeting, we will be getting to know the current status and distribution of the Asian rhinos across the range countries. The meeting will discuss and build common strategies to control illegal wildlife trade, sharing experiences, learning, and best practices. I am confident that this meeting will also consider the issues related to the emerging diseases and climate change impacts affecting the habitat, health, and welfare of Asian rhinos. Indeed, this meeting will lay the foundation for strengthening the transboundary cooperation and outline the funding support for Asian rhino conservation. I hope the Chitwan Declaration for Asian rhinos will be a milestone for securing a future of this highly threatened species. Here at Chitwan, we value and cherish the friendship and we make cooperation for the lifetime. And our vision, goal, and commitment will be stronger in the days to come. Distinguished delegates, guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your gracious presence this morning. Once again, I would like to welcome you all in this meeting. Thank you.
I request the chief guest of today's program, Honorable Vice Chair of the National Planning Commission, Dr. Min Bahadur Shrestha, for official inaugural of the meeting by lighting the panas.
पछाडि बस्नु भाइ थोरै
Participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the organizing committee for inviting me as the chief guest to this august gathering and giving me this opportunity to inaugurate the program. The Chitwan National Park, the first protected area of Nepal, is naturally beautiful and culturally rich place and prime habitat of greater one-horned rhino in Nepal. I am also associated with this venue as the area is my hometown and a beautiful place blessed by the nature. I welcome you all delegates and observers from Rhino range countries, particularly from Bhutan, India, Indonesia, Malaysia and Nepal, and to all participants from various agencies. I am delighted to let you know that the rhino population of Nepal has increased from 425 in 2008 to 752 in 2021, and they are distributed across the Chitwan, Bardia, Suklafanta, Parsa National Park and nearby areas. Our government is fully committed to protect this species, conserve its ecosystem and manage its habitat so that the species can survive in Nepal forever and no extinction from the planet. As a result of collective conservation efforts of the government agencies, local communities, conservation partner and security agencies, the population of the species is constantly increasing in Nepal. Despite this, the species is facing various crises including rhino crime, conflicts and climate change. At this juncture, we do not have a choice but to overcome these crises and save the species. Distinguished participants, I urge you all participants from rhino range countries to discuss on various aspects of rhino conservation, including success and failure stories, so that your valuable insight can help protect the species in the days to come. As rhino is one of the mega herbivores, it always needs a larger area for its cover, water and space. Only large contiguous block of habitat can secure minimum nutrients and diet to this species and its long-term existence. Therefore, I urge you all to coordinate with relevant development agencies to adopt nature-positive infrastructure to ensure that no wildlife habitat is lost. In addition, restoration of ecosystem and maintaining corridor connectivity nearby the protected area is equally important. Saving the species from the adverse impact of climate change is equally crucial. Therefore, we need to focus on water and food security of the species. Human and rhino conflict is escalating in the recent days in the vicinity areas of the park. Therefore, I suggest you to apply twofold approaches to reduce the conflict. First, we can reduce the conflict by quality habitat management. Second, we can find alternative and better livelihood opportunities to local communities, develop appropriate relief fund and insurance mechanism for the crop depredation, livestock damage and human casualties. Rhino poaching and illegal trade of its parts is a serious crime. Therefore, I urge all law enforcement agencies to coordinate with each other for effective law enforcement to combat the wildlife crime. On the other hand, rhino is not only symbol of healthy ecosystems but also an attractive tourism product to both foreign and domestic tourists in Nepal. Seeing a rhino is a lifetime experience for all those who visit Nepal. Therefore, let's conserve this special creature as a part of green growth strategy and economic prosperity of Nepal. As the department has recently approved its strategy, I believe that only climate resilient park management system and its self-sustaining mechanism can save the endangered species like rhino. Let's conserve the species for ourselves and for the future generation. Distinguished participants, given the precious nature of one whole rhino and considering its ecological importance, I would like to stress the need for reforming habitat management guidelines and establish a special rhino conservation program with the aim to better manage rhino habitat, reduce human rhino conflict and to support livelihood of local communities of Nepal, including Chitwan National Park. Finally, I wish this meeting a grand success and wish our guest a pleasant stay in Chitwan. Thank you.
Nepal for his encouraging words and an incredible support in favor of rhino conservation. Thank you. Now I would like to move on. I would like to request Dr. John Paul, who is Asian Species Survival Commission's chair, for delivering his remarks and also a few words on review of the conservation needs and priorities.
Thank you. A couple of them. Oh, thank you. Which one is two? Down. Before I get into that subject, I wanted to introduce to you a topic that is very important to me, and this I think is particularly relevant in this part of the world, which is the biodiversity paradox. If you make a map, here on the left, top left, if you make a map of terrestrial biodiversity, in this case birds of the world, you will see that the concentration of species is located around tropical areas, typically. If you make the same map of the commission members of IUCN, the institutional members of IUCN, and the per capita GDP of the world, the map is different. It's concentrated in different parts of the world. If you look at the list of those four maps that I showed before, the top 25 countries in those four maps, you'll see on the left column, zero overlap between the countries with most biodiversity and the countries with most money. Only in the middle two columns, experts and institutions, only 4 countries overlap from the 2 columns left and right. So that means that we are facing a big challenge in the developing countries of the world to build our capacity, our institutions, our technical capacity, and finance. So that's just a challenge that underlies all that we'll be talking about these next few days and all the work that I am very interested in doing in the SSC. And that's just the same map with the figure. Top biodiversity countries in the world in red, top per capita GDP countries in green, total opposite. Now all the work that we do in all the cases that I'm going to show to you today fall under what we call the species conservation cycle. We use evidence, science, knowledge to drive planning and to drive conservation. All the combination of our experience as institutions and professionals and scientists together is what makes a difference. And we'll start in Mauritius, just an example of a part of the world. It's a model extinction island. More species have gone extinct in Mauritius or are very threatened than in almost any part of the world. There are 3 birds in particular that I want to mention: the Mauritius kestrel, the pink pigeon, and the echo parakeet. These all 3 were on the brink of extinction, and they were rescued by premeditated, carefully planned, evidence-based, cooperative, institutional cooperative conservation. Mauritius kestrel was the rarest bird in the world in the 1970s. 4 individuals were left. It was affected by multiple threats that included DDT and others, and lack of nesting sites. The stopping the use of DDT combined with different actions, the invention of, or at least the application of double clutching, lots of ex situ interventions, brought back the kestrel to levels that now is far from extinction. The pink pigeon was the rarest pigeon in the world in the 1990s, again, threatened by multiple threats. Once more, evidence-based conservation, combination of different efforts, brought the bird back and now lives in 7 locations on the island. Echo parakeet, the rarest parrot in the world, the rarest parakeet in the world. It's these 3 birds. You know, in most parts of the world, they would have thought, you know, what's the point of making any effort? These are lost causes. These birds are gone. But what I want to insist with these presentations is that even in these cases of dramatic, hopeless situations, we're able to come back and save them by combining, you know, in situ interventions, ex situ interventions, joining governments, scientists, civil society, all working together. Just 2 more examples. Lord Howe Island phasmid, the stick insect. By the time that it was discovered, just shortly after it was discovered in the 1900s, it was declared extinct as a consequence of invasive species, rats, that landed on its island. Oops, I'm missing a slide, sorry about that. At present, one single pair that was extracted from the island was used to breed a colony that now has 15,000 individuals in different zoos around the world. It's rescued from extinction. They're looking for places to reintroduce them in the wild. A species that, again, was thought to be extinct. And finally, the Arabian oryx, same situation, a species that was declared extinct in the wild through captive breeding and the intervention, the cooperation, international cooperation of government, scientists, civil society, etc. So the point that I'm trying to make, and there are many, many more examples, and I'm happy to share them with you, these are all species that have been brought back from the brink of extinction, from few individuals back to surviving, thriving, reintroduced populations in the wild. And that's my main point, is that a lot more money is spent destroying nature than it is spent on saving nature. So if we just tip the balance a little bit, if we just shift the effort from destroying to saving just slightly, nature will come back. And these are examples of species that came back and that many people would have thought it was not worth investing in them. I am personally involved, together with colleagues from other organizations. I chair the UCN Species Survival Commission, and we have convened the Sumatran Rhino Survival Alliance. We work with the government of Indonesia to support the government in their goals of preserving and conserving and expanding Sumatran rhino. I'm looking forward to this meeting, to hearing your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions, your solutions, because we have the solutions. We just have to make sure that we implement them. SSC, I'm just grateful to all the sponsors that make the work that we do possible. So looking forward to the next few days. Conservation works. We just need to do more of it. Thank you.
Talukdar, Chair of the IUCN Species Survival Commission's Asian Rhino Specialist Group for keynote address.
This is the third Asian Rhino Run State meeting. I would like to go back to 2013 when the first Asian Rhino Runs country meeting was organized by the government of Indonesia in 2013 in Bandar Lampung. And that meeting was basically triggered by the Species Survival Commission of IUCN, realizing the need to consolidate the conservation efforts, especially for the Sumatran rhinos. Government of Indonesia also realized that, and they hosted the first Asian Rhino Runs country meeting where we got the government officials from all 5 countries, including Nepal. Based on that, the Bandar Lampung declarations was made to secure the future of the Asian rhinos, the 3 species of Asian rhinos that we have, the greater one-horned rhino, the Javan rhino, and the Sumatran rhino. The second Asian Rhino Run State meeting was held in New Delhi in February 2019. We are fortunate that in that meeting also we got official representative from the 5 Asian Rhino Runs countries beside other conservation agencies. And the New Delhi declarations was made comprising about 12 agreements among the host countries. And I think this is the third meeting because in the second Asian Rhino Runs country meeting, the Nepal delegates proposed that the third Asian Rhino Runs country meeting be held in Nepal. And that is why we are all here. And Nepal is one of the success story for the conservation of greater one-horned rhino. So I'm sure the experience from Nepal will also enhance the knowledge of other runs countries and conservation agencies. So I see this is a great opportunity. What we want to achieve is basically what we committed. So we really need to go back to the first declarations, second declarations, how much we have progressed, in some areas where we made good progress, some areas where we are still, lagging behind. And I think that will help us to prepare the declarations, the Chitwan declarations, which can further enhance, the conservation aspect of the 3 species of Asian rhinos. If we see compared to the African rhinos, Asian rhinos are little known. The greater one-horned rhinos are known, but Javan, Sumatran rhinos are very little known. So that's something, we really need to promote. And as Dr. John Paul has mentioned, there are ups and downs in species conservations, but we should not get disheartened. Challenges brings opportunity. Okay, so I think we really need to look at the opportunities during that challenging period, put all our efforts, and that can lead to the success stories. The greater one-horned rhino population in Assam, it is thought to be a dozen. I think at least it's not dozen, there was 50. From 50, now it has gone to almost 2,800. Nepal also with a small population, it has gone now to 700 plus. So there are conservation success stories, and that is how we know a country probably has been able to achieve is a learning experience. We also learn more from the failures. So at SAS, failures are also a good indicator to make our part to achieve successes. So I'm sure that this meeting will give us the opportunity. Next 3 days there will be deliberations on various aspects. With an aim to learn from each other's experience on different aspects of conservation. The rhino conservation is not just protecting rhinos from the poachers, but it has many other dimensions that needs to be addressed with, including the climate change. So I think with the proactive participations of all of us, will make this third Asian Rhino Run State meeting a meaningful one. And we can carry forward, the responsibilities, bestowed to conserve the rhinos, the 3 species of rhinos forward, and there can be exchanges among the government agencies. This Rhino Run State meeting is basically for the Rhino Run State. The other conservation agencies, NGOs, we are actually complementing and supplementing. Decision has to be reached at the government level because the declaration has to be signed by government officials. Okay, so I think there are a lot of opportunities to collaborate and work together that can ensure the future of the 3 species of Asian rhinos. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Again, I would like to continue with the remarks, and now I'd like to kindly request Mr. Siva Kumar Wagle, Joint Secretary at the Ministry of Forest and Environment, Nepal, to deliver his remarks.
Planning Commission, guest Dr. Chitwan, Dr. Bibab Kumar Talukar, Dr. John Paul, distinguished delegates from different countries, all participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to share my sincere thanks for inviting me to this important event and opportunity to deliver my opinion. I also would like to welcome you all international delegates in Nepal, the beautiful place here in Chitwan National Park. In the meantime, I would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge the tremendous contribution and energy shown by the Department of National Park and Wildlife Conservation partner, Government of Rhino Range countries and IUCN rhinoceros specialist groups by choosing Nepal to organize this important meeting. Nepal has a history of more than 7 decades in the conservation of rhino, which is a flagship and iconic species of the country. The conservation history of Nepal commenced from the establishment of the Rhino Patrol and Chitwan National Park is the first national park. The government of Nepal has been giving highest priority to save the species. Government of Nepal is conserving this magnificent animal through one-horned rhinoceros conservation action plan. Involvement of Nepali Army to conservation, establishment of the protected areas and rhino for gene conservation are the major landmark in rhino conservation history. I am very delighted to share that we have 752 rhinos in Nepal and Chitwan only holds 694 rhinos. I would like to thank and congratulate all the concerned stakeholders, especially to the local people who are major custodians for this success. Dear colleagues, rhino conservation is crucial to maintain healthy and integrity of floodplain ecosystem. It has economic, social, religious, historical, and cultural significance. In order to maintain and enhance significant conservation, we have to work to enhance the habitat restoration, that is the productivity of the rangeland. I urge all stakeholders who involved in conservation to perform their responsibilities effectively by adaptive sensitivity. I am aware that the habitat of the population of the rhino has been disturbed due to the increasing habitation in the buffer zone area, nearby protected area, change in river bank dynamics by construction of the embankment, rivers and water, source pollution, degradation of the Chure area. The major threats to our context is poaching and illegal trade for rhino on, conflict with communities and disease and sometimes natural death due to flood are still enduring threats for rhino conservation. In order to address these threats, the government of Nepal together with conservation partners has been implementing a range of integrated interventions. We have many success stories in anti-poaching, grassland and water management, rhino monitoring, maintenance of corridor and connectivity and building human-wildlife coexistence. Our experience has shown that rhino conservation can be possible only with the support and participation of the local people. International support, collaboration and cooperation is equally important. Innovative conservation ideas and modalities should be developed. We have to link conservation to the tourism, business and local people. Our experience has also revealed that strong law enforcement can save the species from extinction. But information management and intelligence of law enforcement processes are prerequisite. As the illegal trade of rhino horn is of transnational nature, the transboundary cooperation both at bilateral and multilateral level and utilization of regional organizations like South Asia Wildlife Enforcement Network is essential. Since the very beginning, Nepal has been collaborating with other range states for the biodiversity conservation. I would like to request you all rhino range states to strengthen bilateral relation and partnership in the biodiversity conservation. Despite our best effort to conserve the rhinoceros and the habitat it occupies, we still have diminutive information on impact of climate change, threat of emerging zoonotic disease and gene pool conservation. Therefore, I strongly urge to government, academia, IUCN, and scientific committees for long-term scientific study on this area. Finally, I would like to share my sincere thanks to Department of National Park and Wildlife Conservation partner including NTNC, IUCN, WWF, ZSL, donor who supported the organizing this meeting. Thank you very much.
The chair of this session, Dr. Dhakal, who is the Director General of the Department of National Park and Wildlife. We have already heard our Right Honorable Prime Minister of Nepal, Mr. Pushpa Kamal Dahal, who has actually given us some of the direction what he would like to actually see the outcome of this, and I honor him. Chief guest Honorable, our Honorable Vice Chairman of National Planning Commission, Dr. Min Bahadur Shrestha ji, Secretary, of course Secretary has been recently changed, but Mr. Wagle ji, Chairperson of IUCN Species Survival Commission Zone. I was there associated for many years in IUCN also, so I welcome you here. And government delegates from different parts, different countries, 5 main countries of Bhutan, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Nepal, and all the experts, representative of conservation partners within the country and outside the country. I, on behalf of my organization as a collaborator of this event, from NTNC, National Trust for Nature Conservation, I will heartily welcome all of you here. Ladies and gentlemen, well, there is not much to say actually. The Species Survival Commission, both the people have already said, our secretary has already said. So I have 1 or 2 things to add actually. This area, as you say, Chitwan, which is one of the prime area, it used to be and still is the prime area habitat of rhinoceros, single rhinoceros. It has been actually protected since immemorial. If we go, the paleontological studies, 55 to 66 million years ago. Since then, this species has been coming in this planet and it is survived still as it. So this is continuing. Particularly in this area, Chitwan Valley is very, very rich in culture as well as biodiversity, and we have linguistic diversity also. That linguistic diversity is actually existing, as we can see the traditional knowledge system here. The traditional knowledge system of the indigenous people and local communities is very strong here, and that has actually in many cases supported and helped to conserve the biodiversity of this area. As we see, I think in the early 80s, our total rhino population was very low. It has gone down in the whole of the South Asian region, Asian single horn rhino. It has gone to about 1,500 heads at that time. And through support from people, through support from community, government, army, police, and all the people, and non-governmental sectors, and the collaborating partners, now I think we are around 4,000 or just over 4,000 in the whole of the region. So this is one area. If we see in case of our country, Nepal, it was almost about 100 rhinos in the 80s, and now we are approaching or exceeding 700. So this is how this has come up because of the collaboration of the people, because of the collaboration of the government, and government actually intervention, particularly in the promulgation of law, legal instrument. That is how it has worked. And in future also, I think we will see it will continue to yield the good results. All the agencies have worked very hard actually to work to bring this to an iconic species here to protect in this biggest protected area, and I am sure in all the 5 countries in the region also. And this has brought a lot of improvement in livelihood of the people through the, because of this iconic species, through the use of tourism as one of the major area that we do. But we are actually facing a lot of problems. One of the major problems is food base. Food base is one of the problems. The invasive species, you can see, I think you will have the time and opportunity to visit this protected area also. You see invasive species that has impact on its food base. So this is one area. Another major problem which we have faced was because of the flooding. Climate change is said one of the major impact in future. As we see, you know, the trajectory is, as all the scientists in IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, they say 1.5 degrees Celsius, but the trajectory we can see it will already exceed 2 degrees or even more. So therefore, if the temperature rises, that means, you know, the erratic and flash floods are one of the major problem, and that we have faced in the past also here. So because of the flash flood also, we are facing this problem in protecting rhinoceros also. Another problem, as we have seen, and more recently, I think 1 or 2 rhinos are already posed hunt in this area also, because this is a continuous process. Despite government effort, despite military effort, and despite all the communities effort, also this is ongoing. I am sure, you know, in other parts of the other country also this is the case. So we have to actually deal with human and rhino conflict. This is one of the area. This is area poaching, and climate resilience system is one of the most important aspects. I am not quite sure how we will be able to do that, because until and unless we continue to use the fossil fuel, we continue to disturb the atmospheric chemistry of atmosphere, it is very difficult actually to circumvent the climate change impact. So all the government, of course, in the globe, I think until and unless they are committed actually to reduce fossil fuel burning, it is very difficult, and the very much impact will be in the country like us, you know, in the Himalaya region. Himalayas glaciers are melting. Over 2,300 glaciers are at the verge of, you know, there is a potential for them to come down. Already we are witnessing these things. So there are some of the problems. But at the same time, we are working very hard for the development of the corridor of wildlife, including rhinoceros. And it will continue. And our effort, particularly, Nepal is a small country by size, but by population, we are one of the biggest country. We have 30 million people, you know. So we are a big country also. By size, we are small. But by the population, we are big. By biodiversity also, we are very big. So therefore, I think we are working really hard in the protection, conservation of nature and natural resources. So I very much would like to welcome you at the inn also, you, and I am sure all the guests who are here will have a very pleasant stay here, because our people are very hospitable. You can enjoy, you know, shopping also in, you know, in Bharatpur, and there are shopping malls also here. And I would also like actually your safe back to home also, and with a very memorable feeling of this country, the hospitality and the rhinoceros themselves. I am really thankful to you, and thank you very much for your participation, and namaste. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, my humble request to the Honorable Vice Chairperson of the National Planning Commission and the Chief Guest of the inaugural session of today's meeting, Dr. Min Bahadur Shrestha, to deliver his inaugural remarks.
Conservationists, representatives of conservation partners, media friends, ladies and gentlemen, namaste. I am pleased to be here in this August gathering as a part of the third meeting of Asian Rhino Range countries. I would like to share my sincere thanks to the organizing committee for giving me this opportunity. I would like to extend my warm welcome to you all in the Chitwan National Park, a World Heritage Site, at the onset of this meeting. I came to know that this meeting is a regular gathering of government officials of Rhino Range countries, Rhino experts, conservationists, and representatives of conservation agencies. It will review the past strategies and actions and will make a future plan to conserve the iconic species rhino, which is a highly threatened species. Ladies and gentlemen, Nepal is a naturally beautiful and culturally rich country in the world, irrespective of its very small geographical area. I am delighted to note that the government of Nepal has taken many important steps to conserve its biological resources for ecosystem health and prosperity. Biodiversity conservation in Nepal was formally started during the early 1970s with a focus on endangered species and establishment of protected areas to conserve and manage representative ecosystems. Since then, the government of Nepal has brought timely transformation in its conservation policies, such as buffer zone management for ensuring people-centered participatory approach and engagement of local communities. Nepal shares with other Rhino Range countries many of the challenges and opportunities in biodiversity conservation. Nepal also shares common concerns in safeguarding the natural heritage. In our periodic plan, national plan, we have given priority for the conservation of rare and endangered species. National Planning Commission is in the process of formulating 16 development plan, and we are sure we'll be including some significant programs regarding wildlife conservation. The government of Nepal is fully committed to the conservation of biological diversity in the country. We know that government efforts alone are not sufficient. Therefore, we need support from both national and international communities in the areas of diversity conservation. Ladies and gentlemen, rhinos are the iconic species to Nepal and symbol of healthy ecosystem as well. Rhinos and humans have coexisted for hundreds of centuries in the world. Many people in Nepal regard rhino as Lord Vishnu, and therefore the species has cultural significance too. Realizing the ecological and cultural importance of this species, Nepal initiated the rhino conservation in the late 1950s, popularly known as rhino patrolling. On the other hand, rhinos and humans are competing for their survival in the same habitat. As a result of shrinking forests and grasslands often come into conflict, resulting loss of crop as well as the lives of women and rhinos. With tremendous efforts to conserve these magnificent creatures over the last few decades, population of greater one-horned rhinos has reached over 4,000, whereas population of Javan and Sumatran rhinos are still dwindling in Southeast Asia, particularly in Malaysia and Indonesia. We need to work together with government, experts, development partners, local communities, and other stakeholders to devise better strategies for ensuring conservation of rhinos. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to reiterate that Nepal is committed to the cause of conservation and dedicated to the extent possible to conserve rhinos and their habitats. We need your good wishes and support to make our efforts fruitful. This meeting indeed provides us an opportunity to bring the government representatives from all the Asian Rhino Range countries, experts, and conservationists together, and this will certainly add more energy in our course of conservation journey. I would like to assure that we are determined to conserve this species with numerous initiatives both at national and at grassroots level in protected areas and beyond. I strongly believe that international support, solidarity, and cooperation will be crucial in this venture. We all have to be together to conserve rare and endangered species, as to conserve the species is our common responsibility. Let's commit and recommit ourselves to redirect our combined efforts and resources to this end. I am confident that this meeting would come up with a fruitful outcome to mark a turning point in rhino conservation. We understand that partnership with local communities, finding alternative livelihoods to them, and working together with national and international partners is always instrumental for long-term existence of the species. The department has recently been adopted a strategic policy 2022 to 30, aiming climate resilience and self-sustaining protected area management following the principle of green growth strategy and carbon neutrality. I would like to thank the department for implementing some innovative measures to address the climate crisis and achieve the sustainable development goals as well. Finally, I would like to affirm our strong commitment to the conservation of biodiversity in general and rhino in particular, and also request all national and international agencies to join the hands in the government mission. I wish a grand success of the meeting and pleasant stay of international participants here in Chitwan National Park. Let's join hands to save the species and make the planet a better place for the rhinos. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson of the National Planning Commission and the Chief Guest of today's inaugural session, for your gracious presence and your valuable words. Now we have come to the end of the inaugural session of this meeting, and I'd like to request you all to join us for a group photo after this session. And also would like to inform you that the technical session of this third Asian Rhino Range countries meeting will start in this hall after a lunch break. Now I would like to request Chair of this inaugural session and the Director General of the Department of National Parks and Wildlife Conservation, for Dr. Dhakal, for the vote of thanks, and also to conclude this session. Thank you and have a great afternoon, you all.
Colleagues from media, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I welcome you all delegates and observer participants on behalf of the organizing committee, the government of Nepal, and on my own here in beautiful place, Chitwan National Park. I would like to share my sincere thanks to the Rhino Range countries, IUCN Species Survival Commissions, and Asia Rhino Specialist Group, conservation partners, and international colleagues of rhino conservation for choosing this venue in Nepal and giving this opportunity to organize this event to the Department of National Park and Wildlife Conservation. Distinguished participants, rhino is one of the largest mega herbivores to the planet, an iconic species to the subtropical ecosystem of Asia, and greater one-horned rhino is an ecological identity to South Asia and Nepal. Realizing this fact, the government of Nepal has established these Chitwan National Parks, the first port area of Nepal dedicated to rhino conservation, which is beautiful in natural and rich in cultural heritage. As a result, the park is also enlisted in UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1984, and Bisajari Lake is enlisted in Ramsar Site in 2003. In Chitwan National Parks, you can observe numerous ecosystems even within a small patch. Such richness you can seldom see in other part of the planet. You can see greater one-horned rhino, tiger, elephant, bison, and bear, deer, and many other species of birds, including crocodile and many aquatic species within the one ecosystem here in Chitwan. Distinguished participants, Nepal's biodiversity conservation is embedded in participatory approach with local communities. You can see the buffer zone program as an example. Teamwork with security agencies, for example, you can see the patrolling with Nepal Army and wildlife crime control with Nepal Police. And partnership with conservation agencies, you can see the contribution of NTNC, WWF and ZSL Nepal in Tarai Art Landscape Program, particularly rhino habitat areas. As a result of participatory approach, teamwork and partnership, I am pleased to share you all that Nepal is one of the countries to double the tiger population and rhino population. Tiger population in last decade and rhino population is also constantly increasing in the recent years. Despite our collective efforts, we are facing both opportunities and challenges while conserving the biodiversity in general and conserving the rhino in particular. In order to resolve those challenges and capitalize the opportunities, in fact, we are here to share our experience and expertise, knowledge and wisdom, stories and best practices, even failure stories for lesson learned and make a better plan for better future of rhino conservation. Distinguished participants, as our Prime Minister just pointed out earlier, human-wildlife conflicts, wildlife crime and climate change, particularly climate-induced disasters, are three major challenges to biodiversity conservation and the rhino as well. That's why our Prime Minister is also committed to endorse the habitat management guidelines and create a special rhino conservation program from the coming fiscal years. Very recently, the government of Nepal has approved and implemented two important policy documents on biodiversity conservation. The first one is Wildlife Friendly Infrastructure Guideline to coordinate to all development agencies in order to balance between conservation and development and halt the biodiversity loss at large. Similarly, the second policy document is Port Area Management Strategy 2022 to 30, which aims climate resilient and self-sustaining port area management system in Nepal. You can download the policy documents from our department website. Therefore, let's discuss in this meeting on multilateralism of biodiversity conservation so that we can secure the rhino species to our territory for a long time. Finally, I would like to share my sincere thanks to Right Honorable Prime Minister for providing his message and provide us a true guardianship. Similarly, I would like to share my sincere thanks to our Chief Guest, Dr. Min Bahadur Shrestha, the Vice Chair of National Planning Commission, for accepting our request as the Chief Guest, coming all the way from Kathmandu to Chitwan, despite your busy schedule in Kathmandu. Thank you very much, sir. Similarly, I thank you, Dr. Krishna Prasad Oli, Chair of NTNC and Advisor of Right Honorable President, for your presence and inspiring remarks. Mr. Sivakumar Wagle, Acting Secretary, providing us to organizing the event and always encouraging us to this endeavor. Dr. Biba and Dr. John, thank you very much, sir, for your remarks and your presence. Similarly, I would like to share my sincere thanks to Dr. Santraj Gamali, Rhino expert, all the colleagues from NTNC, all the colleagues from WWF Nepal, and all the colleagues from ZSL Nepal, and Mr. Ajay Karki and my all crew members. I would like to share my sincere thanks for your hard work and dedication to organize this event since the very beginning. Last but not the least, I wish a grand success of this event and also wish you all delegates a very happy and pleasant stay here in Chitwan. Enjoy with Nepali culture and natures. Finally, I adjourn this opening session here. Thank you.
Thank you, guest and other guest on dais. Momento, please. First, I would like to request our chief guest, Honorable Vice Chair of the National Planning Commission.
Here.
11 that is not relevant to us. And among the remaining 11, we have made significant progress in 6 declaration, and we have